This week is the week of perks at Potbelly. Think of it as a sandwich holiday for Perks members from October 2nd to 6th, a.k.a. a new festive way to enjoy Potbelly's legendary toasted sandwiches. Potbelly, we bring the hot.
Local news, national news, even feel-good news, delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
Well, we have a lot to unpack here this afternoon. Once again, though, if you did not hear it, the key word at 5 o'clock is the word drive, D-R-I-V-E, D-R-I-V-E. Open up the WDBO app and tap the payroll payout button and enter the word drive for your chance to win $1,000. And remember, if you enter the word drive in the WDBO app and then say in the next 30 to 40 minutes your phone rings, for the love of all that is holy, answer the phone. Of course, here's what has happened just in the last 10 minutes.
On this vote, the yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Ah, there we go. We don't have a Speaker of the House at the moment. I want to turn to our political expert, Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath joins us live. And Chris, I think you and I are both dusting off our resumes right now, getting ready to apply.
Yes.
I mean, we could be third in line to the presidency.
I am scrolling through Indeed right now, waiting for this to pop up. I think I might be qualified.
Right. So this is very bizarre. This is historic, and I think of those historic moments. We all remember where we were when the Challenger fell out of the sky. We remember where we were when, Michael Jackson died and stuff like that. I don't know. As historic as this is, I don't know that this is going to be one of those moments where we all look back and say, hey, do you remember that time the U.S. House kicked out the Speaker of the House?
Yeah, no, I think this is historic in the same way the first time you're at school and somebody starts a food fight. It's historic. It's never happened before, but it's also like, guys, come on. Yeah. Seriously, can we not eat our lunch? We all love the square pizza. Let's just sit down and enjoy it. But, yeah, you have 216 to 210. A vote comes through. McCarthy is the first speaker ever vacated out of the role in the history of our country. And, he had 269 days as speaker. He could still be speaker again, because I don't know who else they're going to put out there to be speaker. But, it's never happened before. But everything happens for the first time eventually. Yep. So here we are.
Is it safe to say then, unless and until we get a new Speaker of the House, there won't be any business conducted in the House?
The House cannot conduct any business until there is a speaker. Until then, you're basically going to be back to where we were. Do you remember when there were 15 votes behind a speaker? Yeah. That's what we're back to now. And so the question becomes, who wants this job? I mean, ask Paul Ryan, ask John Boehner how much fun it is to be speaker when you have a caucus that is hard to control. Nancy Pelosi had a very small margin, but, one of her qualities as speaker, love her or hate her, is she kept the Democrats all marching in lockstep. Boehner and Paul Ryan both found that it's very hard to control the different wings of the GOP. That's something Kevin McCarthy ran into, and whoever gets the gavel next is going to be dealing with that as well. So, uncharted territory here, and it's hard to say what comes next.
Christopher Heath, one might think, since Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is the guy who instigated this, that Matt Gaetz would then think, well, I'll be the next Speaker of the House. But he is indicating that he's not interested in that.
I would imagine if Matt Gaetz ran for that, Democrats would not vote for him. And right now, if you follow what Republicans who supported McCarthy, and there were a lot of them, there were 210 Republicans who supported McCarthy, what they're saying, I don't think they'd vote for Matt Gaetz for dog catcher at this point. So I don't think he'd have the votes from either party right now to be speaker. But it's definitely chaos right now in the lower chamber.
Is it possible that a Democrat like Hakeem Jeffries could become the speaker?
More likely than that would probably be a consensus Republican, just because Republicans do have the majority. There are 2 vacant seats now in the House that still need to be filled, but you have 221 Republicans, 212 Democrats. So Republicans have a majority. But if a consensus candidate could come out that could get 100, 150 Democrats, 150 or so Republicans, they could consolidate it and essentially have a consensus. But at that point, you're going to be upsetting both the far left and the far right, and concessions would have to be made. Listen, a consensus speaker is going to come in and have to make concessions to the other party to get enough votes to become speaker. And it's just, I think at this point, it's almost untenable to say that you can govern with just a very slim majority, which is what Kevin McCarthy had. But I don't know what the alternative is other than maybe a consensus, and I don't know what that consensus would look like and what each party would be willing to stipulate to provide enough votes to become the next speaker.
If you're just joining us here on the Joe Kelley Show, we're talking to Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath about the breaking news that we've been covering here all afternoon, but it really just came to a head just moments ago. Literally, as we came on the air at 5 o'clock, Matt Gaetz was outside the Congress being interviewed, and he was being asked this kind of the same questions that I've been asking you, and that is who's going to be the next speaker. And as Gaetz pointed out, and as you well know, the next speaker of the House doesn't necessarily have to be a current member of the House.
No, it does not. It does not have to be, but it's going to, whoever it is. It doesn't matter if it's you, Joe Kelley, with your years of experience and dulcet tones.
Great hair. Don't leave out the great hair.
Well, listen, I got you beat on the great hair.
You do. Yes. Are you still wearing the beard? You still have the beard, don't you?
Still for now. For now. But whoever the next speaker is going to still be dealing with the exact same arithmetic. That does not change. Even if these two vacant seats get filled by Republicans, you still have a very, very slim majority, and you have factions that just right now do not see eye to eye on very core things, and we've got some big issues still ahead of us. This 45-day resolution to keep the government open, the clock's ticking on that. So whoever becomes the next speaker, even if it is somebody outside of Congress, which it's doubtful it will be, but for the sake of argument, it's just somebody in this role, is still going to have to try and wrangle enough votes to keep the government open, as well as deal with any other unforeseen issues that come up down the line with a very slim majority, which means you're building consensus. And right now, that seems to be the one thing in D.C. that neither party really wants to deal with, is making concessions to the other party.
I would have to think that right now, Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries and other Democratic Party leaders in the House are sitting in their respective caucuses just laughing their heads off and enjoying watching the GOP implode, self-destruct, the circular firing squad, if you will. I mean, they've got to be loving this.
Yeah, I mean, what's the old adage in politics that when your opponent is, falling, you sit back and watch.
Yeah,
that's just how politics is played. If your opponent's having a very bad day, don't inject yourself. Let them have a bad day. Let them, and that's really what you're witnessing right now. You have a small faction within the House GOP that is very hardline about several issues, and they were able to extract some concessions from Kevin McCarthy when he became Speaker. They feel like he has not honored those, and that's why we have what we have today. And so as long as they're in this position where they don't have the votes to override that small group within their own party, this is the position you're always going to be in, unless you can go across the aisle and say to 20, 30, 40, 50 Democrats, okay, give me your votes. In exchange, we'll do X, Y, and Z. And that may become toxic then for other Republicans. It's a very bad situation because the math just does not allow a lot of wiggle room.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath. Chris, do you get any sense for what the timeline is going to be like? I mean, are they going to adjourn and just go home for the day and wake up fresh in the morning and could start all over again and see if they can come up with a speaker? Or do you think this is going to be an all-nighter scenario where they're going to try to knock somebody out tonight?
It's hard to say because, again, we've never seen something like this run itself out. I haven't seen the House schedule to see what their agenda looks like or would have looked like or what their schedule is as far as going back to their districts. So I'm not really sure what the calendar sets up as. But I mean, considering you do need a speaker to conduct business on a day-to-day basis, this is the priority. And as I said earlier, other things are going to pop up. The clock is ticking on keeping the government open past 45 days. And, God forbid we have some sort of natural disaster or something else happen where we need Congress to step in and do something on an emergency basis. They can't conduct business until this gets settled. And until you can figure out a way to corral a very slim majority in the GOP, it's going to be hard to find a path forward. So I hate to say it, but wait and see.
Chris, final thoughts here? Anything that perhaps I didn't ask you?
I mean, I think there's really just the big question is, can McCarthy get the votes if he wants to be Speaker again? Can he find a way to cobble together a coalition? Because I think that may be the best path forward. But whether or not Democrats would trust him and whether or not enough Republicans would want to go down that road again, it's hard to say. And if not McCarthy, I don't know who else is out there that really can consolidate it. Many people have pointed to Steve Scalise as a possible Speaker, but he's right now, facing battling cancer, and so he's kind of pulled himself back from this. It's hard to say if there's a person out there who can chart the path forward without building some sort of a middle coalition or, keep the entire GOP in one lockstep. It's a tough path ahead.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath, an all-around good-looking guy with a great beard. Chris, as always, it's great to catch up with you, and thank you for sharing your expertise with our listeners.
Hey, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it.
It is now 5:17 here on the Joe Kelley Show. And, of course, you can join us with your take, your reaction at 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. And, again, if you're just joining us.
On this vote, the yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
May we live in interesting times. That is never meant as a nice comment. That is always meant as it's a curse, not a blessing. May we live in interesting times. And man, do we live in interesting times. 844-580-WDBO. Hit me up in the open mic in the WDBO app. Coming up next here, all the stories that you missed. And you better believe it. You missed a lot today while you were down in the mine, as you were swabbing the deck of the ship, as you were in the sequin factories out there in Kissimmee. Whatever it is you do for a living, your 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or all the stories that you missed while you're at work today. We'll have that for you coming up right after this. Stay with us.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
Here are the stories that you missed today while you were doing your 9 to 5 gig. As you were riding the elevator, we were writing your news stories for you today. We broke the news early this morning that an 11-year-old boy shot two 13-year-olds in Apopka during a Pop Warner football practice. We're told that the children were fighting over a bag of potato chips. We'll have more about that coming up a little bit later here on the Joe Kelley Show. 8 hours ago, the New York Times broke the news that a 14-year-old opened fire in a shopping mall in Bangkok, Thailand, killing 3 people, injuring 4 before being arrested. I thought that was a uniquely American problem, but evidently they have it in Bangkok as well. 7 hours ago, ABC News broke it. So did WDBO. 2 service members killed, 12 others injured when a U.S. Army vehicle flips over in the Yukon training area in Alaska. 6 hours ago, we got the news from Newsmax. Former President Donald Trump addresses reporters before entering the courtroom for day 2 of his civil trial in Manhattan. 5 hours ago, Bloomberg reported that the U.S. job openings unexpectedly increased in August, fueled by a surge in white-collar postings, highlighting the durability of labor demand. 5 hours ago, The Hill reported that Hunter Biden pleads not guilty to federal gun charges. 5 hours ago, ABC News reported that House Speaker McCarthy says he'll bring up the motion to oust himself as Speaker during the first vote series later today. 59 minutes ago, an hour ago, former union leader and Democrat insider Lafonia Butler is now sworn in as the newest member of the United States Senate, replacing Senator Dianne Feinstein. After her death, she becomes only the 3rd black female senator in history, the first black lesbian. She, by the way, most recently, and until yesterday, actually, lived in Maryland and is registered to vote in Maryland, not in California. Oops. 50 minutes ago, the Associated Press reported that a New York judge has imposed a limited gag order on Donald Trump after the former president disparaged a key court staffer during his civil fraud hearing. 43 minutes ago, this is a heartbreaking story. A bus fell from a Venice bridge, resulting in what they describe as an apocalyptic scene. At least 20 people are said to have been killed. And finally, just moments ago, a judge in the Trump Organization lawsuit gag order expanded after Trump disparages the judge's staffer on social media. They've even called for Donald Trump to remove the post from his social media. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. And, of course, the most recent breaking news today was the ousting of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House.
On this vote, the yeas are 216.
Thank goodness the Republicans grew a spine and actually did something. I wonder if Kevin McCarthy was looking for a fire alarm to pull at the last minute.
Yeah, how about that? You, of course, are welcome to share your thoughts at 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. Coming up in the next segment here, we're going to have a chance for you to win a WDBO T-shirt. Now, Laurel, as you well know, we have no budget for this show whatsoever, so we don't have a budget for prizes or anything else like that. But I did go through the boss's office after he left work today, and he's got a bunch of WDBO T-shirts in there in his office. And the good news is there's T-shirts from which I can swipe one. The bad news is they only come in extra large, 2XL, or small. So I'm going to give away a shirt here in the next segment. But if you're not small, extra large, or 2XL, either don't try to win or just be mindful that the shirt's not going to fit you very well.
It's a PJ shirt. You can sleep in it, maybe.
There is nothing that makes a radio person more unhappy than giving away a radio station T-shirt and having someone say, "Oh, I can't wait to sleep in this." You know, unless you're sleeping with 50 people a week, then no, we don't want you to sleep in the shirt. We want you to wear it in public, where we're loud and proud, baby. We want you to be outside wearing that. So please don't wear it. Don't wear it to bed, okay? Also, we talked yesterday about Donald Trump lying. I've got, at the very least, one very deliberate case of Joe Biden lying today. And then Joe Biden pulled a real Glitch McConnell today, where he really glitched up. He froze up in the middle of the sentence and then decides, I guess, that he didn't want to finish the sentence. So he pulls one of those, well, anyhow. So he starts a sentence, pauses. You could drive an 18-wheeler through the pause, and then he says, well, anyhow, and he just moves on from there. So I'll have that for you coming up in just a couple of minutes, plus your chance to win that brand new WDBO T-shirt if you're XL, 2XL, or small. That's coming up next. Stay with us here on the Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. Join the conversation now by using the open mic in the WDBO app. Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Well, I got up at about 5 o'clock this morning, went out on a pre-dawn walk this morning, had a nice hour-long walk alone and with my thoughts. And then as the sun started to come up in the 7 o'clock hour, I thought, man, it is really smoky out here today, very hazy. And then, of course, I find out that the haze and smoke that we're dealing with is from the Canadian wildfires. I do wish Canada would get their wildfires under control because it has been going on for quite some time now that Canada has had their wildfire problem. So I decided to have some fun with Canada's wildfires. And I put together a montage of songs for you that all have fire in the title of the song or in the lyrics of the song. There are 9 songs. If you can identify the artists of all 9 songs in order, call up at 844-580-WDBO. That's 844-580-9326. If you can identify all 9 songs in order, just the artist name is all I need. then I'll give you a free WDBO T-shirt. And please make sure that you're either an extra large, a 2XL, or a small, because those are the only shirts that we have left. So take a listen. Here it is. Here is 9 songs. It's a 1-minute montage. Take a listen.
With your eyes all a mist from the smoke of the distant
be alive. Smoke gets in your eyes. We didn't start the fire. There was always burning since the world's been turning. Oh, I'm on fire. This girl is on fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Was burning we kiss.
I hope you guys got them all. Call right now, 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326. Don't bother with the open mic on this one. You've got to be able to call in and identify those 9 songs. You're not eligible to win, Paul Cross, but I did see you writing down. You got some, but not all of them, I'm gathering from your facial expressions.
Number 8. Right before the very last one, that must have been like less than a second. I didn't even really hear what it was.
Aww.
It was a woman screaming. So okay.
That's sad.
If somebody gets it and I don't, I will give that person the shirt off my back.
Did you get the other 8?
I got the other 9. The other 8. I got the other 8. I just missed number 8.
Number 8. Okay, good. All right, if anybody knows the answer, 844-580-WDBO. Can we talk about a personal issue real quick?
Real quick, these phones are ringing off the hook for this, just so you know. So many people know all these songs.
He is absolutely lying 100%. Not one person has called. We'll just sit here and wait. We'll just wait for someone to... Should I play it again? Do you think it was too fast? You want me to play it again real quick? I'll play it again real quick.
With your eyes all a mist from the smoke of the distant fire.
Must be alive. Smoke gets in your eyes. We didn't start the fire. There was always burning since the world's been turning. Oh, I'm on fire. This girl is on fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Was burning we kiss.
All right, 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326. Now, let's talk about a personal issue. Can I talk about a personal issue? So I have, and I famously have done this. When I find a product that I like, I become incredibly loyal to the product and I use it forever. So I have used, we're going to talk about personal hygiene. So I have used the same shampoo, the same body soap, the same face soap, the same face lotion, and the same underarm deodorant for probably 25 years or longer. I've always used the same brands, the exact same in every one of those cases. But somehow in recent weeks or months, I have developed these stains under my arms on my good shirts. And it's not me sweating. It's got to be the deodorant somehow is staining my shirts. And it is driving me crazy because some of those are really good shirts. They're expensive. I mean, I don't buy, $50, $60 shirts, but I'll buy $20 shirts. And they usually last really, really long. But once they have like a deodorant stain on them, they're useless. So I went out and bought a variety of different underarm deodorants. And so I'm field testing them this week. I'm going to be field testing different underarm deodorants this week. And the one that I'm wearing right now has this, I don't know, elegant smell to it. It's a frou-frou-y smell to it. And it's driving me crazy. All day long, I've been nauseated by this smell that's coming from my underarms. And it's not sweat. It just smells fruity. This is driving me crazy. Somebody help me, Paul. What do I do?
It's not lung fluid, is it?
No, it's not lung fluid. Can't smell it. It smells like flowers or something. I don't want to walk around. I'm honestly fearful that I'm going to walk around. People are going to be like, Joe, are you wearing flowers or something? I'm like, no, I don't want it to smell like flowers. This is terrible. So
it's the same thing you've used forever, huh?
I have literally used the same. In fact, it's I don't remember the brand name, but it's called Cool Rush. That's the scent, Cool Rush. And I always think of Rush Limbaugh, so that's how I always know I got to buy the Cool Rush, and that's the brand. I don't know what brand it is or whatever, but it just makes me crazy now. All right, I think we think we might have a winner here on our music trivia. We'll see. We'll see about that. Let's go to Seminole County. RJ is joining us here on the Joe Kelley Show. Hello, RJ. How are you?
Hey, good, Joe. We'll give it a shot.
All right, let's see. Song number 1. Who sang that?
Orleans.
Song number 2.
Massive.
I'm sorry?
Johnny Massive.
Okay, song number 3.
Joel.
Billy Joel, yep. Song number 4.
Alicia Keys.
Song number 5.
The Boss.
Song number 6.
Springsteen. Johnny Cash.
7.
I can't read my writing here.
No.
I know who it is. P-A-N. I can't read my writing.
Does it say Pointer Sisters?
Pointer Sisters, thank you.
Uh-huh. Song number 8?
ABBA.
And song number 9?
Commodores.
Not even close. I am so sorry.
I made him go through that.
I know. I could have stopped him at song number 1. I really could have stopped him.
Hey, well, the next it'll give a clue to the next person.
It will. They weren't all wrong. A couple of them you had out of order, but you weren't all wrong. But your first 2 were definitely wrong. Thank you, RJ, so much for your try at that. That means we still have that prize available to you. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. Let us know if you can identify those songs properly. One of the stories that we have been talking about throughout the day today is just an absolute tragedy. It's a heartbreaking story out of Apopka, as the Apopka police had to investigate this incident last night at a Pop Warner football practice, where an 11-year-old boy got into a confrontation with 2 13-year-olds. It evidently stemmed from a bag of potato chips, and somebody slapped the food out of another child's hand. So, I don't know if this is one of those, remember post-game rituals with Pop Warner and stuff like that, is like one of the parents brings snacks after the game and stuff like that. I mean, do they still do that when they're 11 and 13 years old? So after this kid had his food slapped out of his hand, this 11-year-old goes back to his mom's car, where evidently his mom was in the car, or she was there. He goes back to the mom's car, pulls a gun out of the car, goes back out onto the field, and shoots 2 13-year-olds, one in the arm, one in the torso. The 11-year-old has been arrested, charged with attempted second-degree murder. I mean, I can't even imagine an 11-year-old having that kind of a rage issue, an 11-year-old having that kind of an issue.
They're going to have to charge the parents, too. The mom, whoever.
I would
she
certainly.
Was in the car and with access to a gun with an 11-year-old?
I would certainly think that the parents are going to be facing some sort of charges here. I mean, because at the end of the day, you can't put an 11-year-old in prison for 20 years. You just can't. It won't work that way. As much as some people might think that that's a good idea to put an 11-year-old in prison, in an adult prison for 20 years, whatever. It's not going to happen. The 11-year-old, I don't want to say he's going to get off with a slap on the wrist. He's going to have some problems for the rest of his life, no doubt, because of his actions on that day, on last night. But it's a heartbreaking story, and I don't know where this comes from. Where does that rage come from? Where does that anger come from? That an 11-year-old is going to try to kill somebody over a bag of potato chips. It blows my mind. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic and the WDBO app. I see we've got another person who wants to take a shot at winning the trivia, the music trivia here tonight. We'll have that for you coming up next as well. Stay with us here. You are listening to The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Talk and discussion on the latest breaking national news.
Crude oil prices continue to fall.
Local news.
You're not going to have Disney have its own government in Central Florida.
And stories that matter to you. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let your voice be heard on The Joe Kelley Show.
All right, so President Biden was in front of a microphone, and he was giving prepared comments, and he started to talk about the House Speaker scenario. And I will let the audio cut speak for itself here. And I'm leaving all of the gaps and pauses in it because, well, that's how he speaks.
I hope this experience for the Speaker has been one of a personal revelation. I'm not being facetious. Anyway.
I cannot believe that man is the president of the United States of America. I just can't believe it. 844-580-WDBO. Let's go to Maitland. Elise is joining us. And Elise, you think you know all 9 of those songs. Is that right?
No. I am here for the shirt off of Paul Cross's back because I know number 8, the one he didn't know.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know what to do with this now. I truly don't know what to do with this. Paul, take your shirt off, brother. You're the one who promised your shirt. So tell Paul what the song was at least.
It's Blame Canada from the South Park movie.
Yes.
And I think it's Kyle's mom, and the kids have been watching Terrence and Phillip, which is that TV show from Canada. It's really disgusting and filthy, and they're all acting bad and whatever. And so she's basically blame Canada for everything, and it's actually hilarious.
That's honestly, when I found out that the haze we were dealing with this morning was Canadian smoke, suddenly in my head, I'm just walking around going, blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Blame Canada. All right, Elise, thank you so much. Paul will put his shirt in the mail straight away. Take it off, Paul. 844-580-WDBO. We'll continue the Joe Kelley Show. Stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Triple Team Traffic.
Looks like I'm doing the next report topless. I-4 eastbound at Princeton. We've got a broken down vehicle there on the right shoulder, but it's causing some slowing as you make your way out of downtown. We still have that broken down truck on the I-4 eastbound exit ramp to 46A in Seminole County. ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Service for honesty, integrity, and 100% customer satisfaction. Call ProTech 407-291-1644 or visit ProTechAC.com. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. In-depth segments on topics that matter to Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
I love your show every night. You're doing great, bud.
You know, we had a comment in our comment thread in our chat room right now on the WDBO Facebook page. Frank writes, random liquid sunshine just hit in Baldwin Park. And, honestly, I've not been looking at the radar this afternoon because we had such a low chance of showers. But sure enough, there is a line of showers that is making its way through. It's nothing severe, but it is maybe it'll rinse some of that smoke out of the air. But from pretty much Sanford on south, it's going through downtown, right through the airports, both of them. It's going to be here in our parking lot. I hope you guys didn't wash your cars because it's going to be raining in our parking lot in short order. In College Station, Texas, you guys know where College Station, Texas is, right? You know what is in College Station, Texas? What is College Station, Texas famous for? Anybody?
Is there a college?
There is a college, Greg. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Texas A&M, the Aggies.
The Aggies. That's exactly right. That's where the Aggies play. That's where the Aggies. That's where Texas A&M University is. And that is one of the test cities where Amazon drones are making deliveries. They're making deliveries in College Station skies, giving customers quick and convenient way to shop. But now some neighbors say they're fed up with the noise of the drones flying over. And hang on in just a second. I'm going to play the audio for you of the Amazon drone flying over. During a city council meeting, former College Station council member Bob Brick spoke to leaders about his concerns as more than a half dozen drones took off in a matter of minutes. He says, I was sitting in my backyard having morning coffee, watching the chickadees feed in the sunflowers, enjoying the morning. During my time, I sat there. 7 drones came overhead, and I think maybe within 100 feet of my house. So he's complaining about the Amazon Prime Air deliveries. And just so you understand what we're talking about here, this is what the drones sound like. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. That was something different. That's not it. This is what the drones sound like. You have to listen more. You have to listen more. Listen carefully. This is the real audio. Those must be chickadees there in the background. My little chickadee. Well, that came across on the radio, but I mean, honestly, is that worse than a big red? Not red. You guys got me mixed up with the red pistachios in the comment thread. Is that worse than a big truck, a delivery truck coming down the street and making an Amazon delivery? I mean, I don't know. I think look, I fly drones, so I know what drones sound like. Usually they fly a couple 100 feet up in the air. You're not going to hear the drones when they're a couple of 100 feet up in the air. Some of the smaller drones especially. But is there anybody who has concerns about drones flying overhead? I, for one, don't have any concerns about that. And I look forward to the day in which we see a little bit more activity with drones and making drone deliveries. Also, if you're just joining us, we were playing the audio of Joe Biden, who had a Glitch McConnell moment as he absolutely froze up during his discussion. He was talking about the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, today getting ousted.
I hope this experience for the Speaker has been one of a personal revelation. I'm not being facetious. Anyway.
That poor guy has no idea where he is or what he's doing. Brandon is checking in from Kissimmee at 844-580-WDBO. Hey, Brandon, you're on the Joe Kelley Show. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good. So I wanted to talk about Joe Biden and what he's doing wrong. So I was watching Mark Levin on Sunday, and he was talking about impeachment. So I know that impeachment is a thing that they should do to Biden because he's been doing lots of things that are wrong in this country. And when he does a lot of things wrong, there's so many things that could be affecting all of us and people in this country.
All right. Well, give me an example then of what things that he has done wrong that is impeachment worthy.
Well, something that would be impeachment worthy is Biden.
I'm sorry. Can you turn the radio down, please? I can't hear you with me in the background. Go ahead, Brandon.
Well, something that Biden does that's impeachable is when he takes money from China.
Right. So far, that's not been proven. I'm with you. I understand that there is a concern there. And as the old adage goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a whole heck of a lot of smoke there. But at the moment, we don't have any fire. That is going to be an impeachable event, a crime committed by Joe Biden. We know that Hunter Biden has committed crimes, and we have very good reason to believe that Joe Biden has committed crimes. But as constitutional expert Jonathan Turley said during the first of the impeachment finding hearings, even Jonathan Turley said at the moment the evidence just doesn't exist to be able to impeach Joe Biden. We can't just impeach someone because we don't like them. We can't just impeach someone because there is talk that they committed crimes. We actually have to be able to prove that they committed crimes. Unless, of course, you're Donald Trump, at which point you could just, impeach him for anything. Evidently, that's what we're seeing, certainly when it comes to Donald Trump. We're also talking about the 11-year-old who went to his mom's car during Pop Warner football in Apopka last night and grabbed a gun out of mom's car and went back to the practice field and shot two 13-year-olds, both of whom are expected to make a full recovery. They'll certainly be traumatized for the rest of their lives by that, I would imagine. They'll have scars for the rest of their lives. And I kind of shook my head and said, what in the world? What is this? How has it come to this? How do we have 11-year-olds that have such rage issues that they're going to go grab a gun out of mom's car and shoot two 13-year-olds? By the way, the gun was purple. It was a purple gun, which it's neither here nor there, I suppose, but it would certainly lead you to believe that was probably mom's gun. I don't know any man who would carry a purple handgun.
Joe Kelley, you know exactly where this sort of rage comes from. It's called poor parenting, awful parenting, single-parent homes. That's what causes this.
Well, that was a rage-filled open mic there about rage. Look, we don't know that this kid is growing up in a single-family home. I mean, you're making assumptions that we just don't know all the facts yet. We may never know all of the facts about this case, but we'll certainly keep a close eye on that, and we'll find out more if we're able to do so. 844-580-WDBO. I'm beginning to think that nobody's going to get the musical montage. Nobody's going to win the T-shirt. Do you want me to go ahead and just tell you who everybody is? Paul Cross, Paul, who do you have? What do you have listed here for these songs?
Okay. I have the Sanford Townsend Band.
Go on.
Drifters.
That's where you're wrong.
That's not it?
No.
Okay.
You're close. You're in the right genre. It's the Platters.
Platters. Oh, shoot. I should have known that.
Okay.
Billy Joel.
Yep.
Bruce Springsteen.
Go on.
Alicia Keys.
Yep.
Johnny Cash.
Uh-huh.
Pointer Sisters.
Go on.
Mary Kay Bergman. She is the vocalist for Blame Canada.
Oh, for Pete's sake. You don't have
the Ohio Players.
Yeah, you didn't have to be that specific, but yes, that's exactly it. What songs did I miss? What fire songs did I miss for that montage? Somebody mentioned a song earlier, but I've already forgotten what it was. Were there any other good fire songs that I missed? Paul, you're my musical expert.
I'm sure there are probably 20 of them.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I can't name any right off the hand.
Well, you did a good job on those, so congratulations. You can have a small WDBO T-shirt. Will that fit you?
I'm going to sign it and send it off, though. I just need to find out where to send it.
Will it fit you? Would a small fit you?
It'll fit my right arm.
Yes, that's about it. That's exactly That's exactly it. All right,
my right leg, I should say. Let me give me some credit for
go
something.
to St. Cloud. Bob is joining us here on the Joe Kelley Show. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Hey, pretty good, Joe. Hey, I was just thinking about it. I was doing the reading on the kid, the 11-year-old who shot the two 13-year-olds.
Yep.
We kind of glorify snipers, like that guy named Kyle, who was able to shoot two people with one round. That's what the kid did. He shot the kids with one bullet.
Is that right? Is that what you read? He only fired one shot.
One shot, one through the guy's arm, and then left the arm into the guy's torso.
Yeah,
into the other guy's torso. So maybe we're looking at the next sniper.
I can't imagine. Again, it's all supposition, but I can't imagine that it was that he deliberately used one bullet to shoot two people. I mean, I would have to think that
the report was.
No. I believe what you're telling me, but I cannot imagine that 11-year-old did it on purpose to shoot two people with one bullet.
Well, probably if they're standing side by side, one did the trick,
Yeah. Bob, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that extra information. My name is Joe Kelley. You're listening to The Joe Kelley Show. We will continue with more of your calls and comments coming up in a moment. This, as a plus-sized influencer, is now calling for hotels to widen their hallways, to add lifts to their bathrooms, and a bunch of other requests or demands that a plus-size influencer is making. You'll be able to hear that in her own words. Coming up next, stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. News, weather, traffic, all the things you want on your drive home. Plus, Joe Kelley being, well, Joe Kelley. Now, The Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
So I saw this on TikTok today. A plus-size influencer is calling for wider hallways in hotels and in elevators and in bathrooms. Here is a part of her video.
I'm on a mission to revolutionize the travel industry and make it a more accessible, accepting, accommodating place for all. The needs of plus-size travelers matter just as much as anybody else. And today I'm going to cover what we are looking for in accessible, size-inclusive hotel amenities. Size-inclusive hotel amenities are crucial for ensuring that plus-size travelers feel welcomed, accommodated, and comfortable during their stay. We deserve an environment that respects our needs and body diversity. These are the exact steps that hotels can take to be more size-inclusive and accessible for travelers of all sizes. Number 1 on the list, provide sturdy, wider chairs without armrests in guest rooms, lobbies, and common areas to accommodate different body sizes and types. Number 2 on the list, ensure beds with strong support and a higher weight capacity, along with providing reinforced chairs and wider bathroom facilities. Number 3, make elevators and hallways spacious to allow for easy movement of larger individuals and those utilizing mobility devices. Number 4, install grab bars in showers and near toilets. Offer adjustable handheld shower heads and raised toilet seats for added accessibility. Number 5, train staff to be respectful, understanding, and accommodating to travelers of all sizes. Number 6, provide pool lifts and handrails at the entry of the pool. This will allow for plus-size guests and guests with different abilities to enjoy all amenities. Number 7, hotel restaurants should have roomy seating options and sturdy chairs, ensuring that everybody can dine comfortably. Number 8, offer larger beach and pool seating. Provide oversized loungers and seating at the beach and pool areas, allowing travelers of all sizes and abilities to be comfortable. Number 9, hotels should provide size-inclusive bathrobes. These should go up to a size 6X and beyond. And hotels should also provide bath sheets or plus-size friendly towels so that travelers of all sizes and abilities can use them comfortably. And last but not least, this is an important one. Display clear and accurate information on these amenities on hotel websites. Include weight limits, seat dimensions, and things like that. And include information on the size-inclusive amenities available. This will help plus-size travelers make informed decisions. By implementing these size-inclusive hotel amenities, hotels can become more inclusive and accommodating. Be sure to hit that follow button for more plus-size travel tips and share this with someone who you think would help.
So that's Jaylyn Cheney. I don't know how much she weighs. I don't know if we're allowed to know how much someone weighs. But she's big. I mean, she's a big girl, to be sure. And, you know, I have a hard time personally relating to this because the totality of my life, I have been a beanpole. I have been extra skinny. I don't need a large towel. Pretty much a washcloth will dry me off. That's about all I'm going to need. I don't need extra duty chairs or anything else like that. But anybody who's been to a doctor's office lately or to a hospital lately knows that hospital beds are quite a bit bigger now than they used to be. I will say that oftentimes in a hospital bed, I'm too tall for the beds because my feet hang off the sides. And that's a big challenge. And I've often, kind of joked to medical staff of, I'm too tall for your hospital bed. But I don't complain about it. I don't demand that the entire industry change for my height. I'm 6'2". Can you imagine these guys that are 7 feet tall or more, some of these NBA players as an example? But that having been said, I think some of her requests are reasonable. Some of them, it's just impossible. You talk about, wider hallways and wider elevators. I mean, those are things that are ultimately going to add millions of dollars to cost to things. But, I think we've all known people who have been obese or who have been plus size, however you want to describe it. I remember once, in fact, getting on a plane. This was some years ago. I was flying with one of my colleagues, and he would be what one would describe as plus-sized, and the seatbelt didn't fit around him. And I remember just the embarrassment that he had to go through of getting a seatbelt extender. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if the seatbelt doesn't fit, you can ask for a seatbelt extender, and that's what he had to do. We couldn't take off until they found a seatbelt extender. And evidently on the flight that we were on, they didn't have enough seatbelt extenders. And then I was the one who chose the fire exit because tall people like me enjoy the fire exit because you have a little bit more leg room on the fire exit. Well, because of his weight, they kicked him out of the fire row, which meant I had to leave the fire row. All of us had to leave the fire exit to make room for skinnier people. And man, I've been on vacations before where I've seen heavyset people who have fallen over backwards in chairs after the chairs break that can't support their weight. I mean, I think there are certain accommodations that can be made. Others, I think, are a pipe dream. And I think at some point personal accountability comes into play as well. That perhaps you could work on losing a few pounds. I know that's not appropriate to say these days, but that is an option. It's always an option, We accept you as you are, but should you always accept yourself as you are? 844-580-WDBO or hit me up in the open mic and the WDBO app.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Connected to our community. Talk local issues and events with Joe Kelley. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let Joe know what interests you. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
A plus-sized social media influencer is calling for hotels to widen their hallways, their elevators, their bathrooms, even the bathrobes and towels. She wants them to be plus size. She wants reinforced beds, reinforced chairs. She wants chairs without armrests on them and a lot more to be able to accommodate people who are plus sized. And let's be honest, there are probably more Americans that are plus size than not these days, as we have become the obesity nation. Let's go to Oviedo. Steve is joining us. I'm told you're an architect. Is that right, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Have you seen?
How are you?
Good, thank you very much. Have you seen changes in designs and architectural needs in recent decades because of the obesity epidemic?
Not from obesity, but some of the items that she mentions are already there in the hotels. They're in the accessible guest rooms. They have the higher toilets. They have the grab bars. They have the clearances, the space to walk around. But what happens is that a lot of people don't ask for those rooms. I don't know why, but they don't get used. A lot of those rooms never get used overnight. The people don't ask for them. So if people need those accommodations, they shouldn't be hesitant to ask for a room like that.
That's interesting. How would one ask for one of those rooms? How would you how would you describe it at a check-in desk? Is you ask for plus-sized features?
It's not plus-size features. You would just ask for a handicap room because in hotel design, 5% of the rooms have to be handicap accessible.
Oh, that's interesting.
And a lot of those accommodations are already in those rooms.
Yeah.
So people should just ask for that. Now, the furniture, no, that's a different story. And, maybe some accommodations have to be made for furniture, but from using a bathroom, where you may need those facilities, they should just ask to use to have a handicap room.
That is interesting. Steve, great information. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that very much.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
That's one of those TILs. Today I learned. Yeah. So you just ask for room. I'm sure from a user's perspective, they don't like the idea of checking into a hotel saying I want a handicap room. Just if they're plus sized, they may not want to have the stigma of saying that they're handicapped, but I certainly understand that option is available to them.
Hey, Joe, here's a request from a tall-sized social media influencer. How about if you're over 6 foot, you automatically get first class without having to pay for airplane ticket upgrades? Or how about you automatically make all cars with extra leg room and not these small cars where your legs don't fit? Or make them tall enough off the ground so you're not crawling out and hit your head when you stand up?
Yeah, and I will say that, height is something that you really can't control. There's no control over height. You do have some control over your weight. Most people do. But I don't have any control over my height. I'm 6'2", and, there are, as an example, theme park rides that I just can't ride because they're so uncomfortable because of my height. I'm allowed to ride them. There's not an upper height limit to my knowledge, but I just know that there are certain park rides that I won't ride because they're too uncomfortable to ride. 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. In other news, Donald Trump wants to cancel. He's calling on the GOP, the Republican National Committee, to cancel the third GOP presidential debate scheduled for November 8th in Miami. He says that the Republican National Committee should immediately cancel the upcoming debate in Miami and end all future debates in order to refocus manpower and money on preventing Democrats' efforts to steal the 2024 election. Oh, I two parts here. I completely agree with Donald Trump. I think that the Republican debates are over. And I have evolved my opinion on that. At the beginning of the season, before the very first debate, I've thoroughly believed and stated here on this show that Donald Trump should participate in the debates. But then after watching the absolute cluster that those first two debates have been, I have come around to realize that the debates are pointless, absolutely pointless. So I agree with Donald Trump on that notion. I do wish Donald Trump would stop saying steal the 2024 election. I wish he would get past that. I wish he would get over that because that tells me that if Donald Trump loses again, he is again gonna whine and moan that the election was stolen from him. I don't believe that the last election was stolen from Donald Trump. I believe that Donald Trump lost the election on his own. Where there are some oddities, sure. There are oddities in every election. But multiple courts, multiple judges, multiple investigations later, there is not enough evidence to suggest that somehow, some way, Donald Trump was the rightful winner of the last election. And that is such a turnoff to hear him repeatedly say that the Democrats are going to steal the election. I just don't buy that. But if you think that they should cancel the rest of the GOP debates, hit me up right now, 844-580-WDBO, 844-580-9326, or use the open mic in the WDBO app. I wholeheartedly agree that the debates are pointless, useless at this point, and there's no reason to continue doing them. And I would love to see some one-on-ones, even, with the upcoming Governor DeSantis, Governor Newsom debate. I'm not sure really what the point of that is. I would love to see a one-on-one maybe with Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, or even just a one-on-one with, say, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, something more intimate than these terrible, terrible debates where everybody is screaming and yelling like children up on stage, saying, look at me, trying to get attention. I just think they're horrible. So I do agree with Donald Trump on that matter. 844-580-WDBO, or hit me up in the open mic and the WDBO app.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Insightful.
You tell the truth from your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio.
And engaging.
When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
844-580-WDBO. My name is Joe Kelley, and let's go to Maitland. Tim is on WDBO. Hey, Tim, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
I was just
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was just going to wait to see how long until you added the next words.
Well, my next words are, first of all, I consider myself, you're not going to like this, but I'm a conservative Democrat, if you've ever heard the word.
Okay.
But Donald Trump is right. There is no need for them to have a debate, but they sure are very entertaining.
Oh, really?
And, yes, they are.
Oh, they're painful. They're so painful to watch.
But they're actually, it's like watching a comedy show. They're pretty funny. And also, Donald Trump will be the nominee, and Donald Trump will win the next presidency. And I believe there are Democrats that will vote for him, possibly me.
I agree with half of what you just said, that he will be the nominee. I just don't know that he will win the election. And again, it's not because Joe Biden is a strong candidate. Honestly, in the last election, Joe Biden didn't win on the strength of Joe Biden. Joe Biden won on the weakness of Donald Trump. Joe Biden won because so many people hated Donald Trump that they didn't want to see a second term of Donald Trump. And the Democrats won because they did a better job of gaming the voting system. Now, I don't mean stealing an election. I mean ballot harvesting and early voting. The Democrats are all about getting people to the polls and getting people there to early vote, and then ballot harvesting, things that the Republicans have rejected. Donald Trump even made the decision. He went on and on and on about, hey, you don't want to early vote. You don't want to, absentee vote. You don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. Vote on Election Day. And so this is why a lot of people feel like the election was stolen, because all of the early votes were for Democrats. They were all Democrat votes for all the early votes because so many Democrat voters early voted. And the Donald Trump votes came in later in the night when those votes finally got counted. And they just weren't enough to overcome the strategy that the Democrats had implemented to be able to get more votes and to get more votes counted. We're also talking about this plus-sized influencer who wants to see wider hallways and accommodations for plus-sized people.
How about 86% of all power tool injuries happen to left-handers because they're all designed for right-handers to hold? How about every door you open is made for a right-handed person to open? Every handshake. I could go on and on about left-handedness. Before anybody has bathrooms for everybody, I'd like door handles, because there's 10% or 11% left-handers out there.
That's interesting. My father was left-handed, and speaking about door handles, all the door handles we have these days are ADA designed. Remember back in the day, some of your older houses still have the round doorknobs. Well, round doorknobs are virtually impossible for people to open and close with certain disabilities. So that's when all of our doorknobs became the handles that we have now. And I can't tell you how many shirts I have ruined walking past the door handle, and the tail of my shirt gets caught on the handle and it rips a hole in my shirt. And I'm certainly not blaming handicapped people for that, and I like the door handles just fine. I've just learned to be more careful walking past door handles rather than door knobs. My name is Joe Kelley. Thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. We're back with you tomorrow afternoon, 5 till 7, right here on WDBO.